Yes, she does, and I love her for it. We need more females like that who just go ahead and take the mantle and run with it. Her show has many followers, and strange as it is, Brother Wole, she has a huge male following, and that's kind of like strange for most female type of shows. But some of her shows, she has a pretty large male following because sometimes her guests.
I'm sorry.
Sometimes her. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Because sometimes the guest that she may have on her show is a draw as well. But then again, that firing, that shoot from the hip is what we really like to hear from her.
Well, it sounds like she must be telling the truth and telling it straight if the brothers are listening.
Yeah.
And we need more of that, and we need to get into more of that. So on the other side of this, so as you get into this, please prepare to get into that right on the other side of this break. Sister Omilade, please take us home.
On November 13th at 8 p.m., please tune in as our Chief Jedna, Haru Yuya Asan Anu, appears as a guest on Occult Science Radio with Curtis Davis, where the topic is Gods and Rituals Wanted, Dead or Alive. To dial in to listen to the show, you can call 646-649-1987. That is 646-649-1987. Or go to www.blogtalkradio.com/illuminated-1. That is www.blogtalkradio.com/illuminated-1. Also, on November 15th at 9 p.m., Chief Jedna Haru Yuya Asananu will appear as a guest on the Iya Awo Folola blog talk show, where the topic is Ancestors. To dial in to listen to the show, you can call 347-989-0180. That is 347-989-0180, or go to www.blogtalkradio.com/Queen Mother 4 Real. That is www.blogtalkradio.com/Queen Mother 4.
Also, in reference to Sapelo Island, I heard about that as well, and actually I had a chance to meet with Brother Michael last year. He brought me some paperwork in reference to what they were trying to do there on Sapelo Island, okay? And I want to, kind of speak on that a little bit, because we know, first of all, they don't own anything down here. They think they own, but they don't. At any time, the Great Mother can come take away everything, okay? Now, I do remember an incident that happened there in Sapelo Island that I told Brother Michael about in reference to. They wasn't taking over nothing. You understand? There was going to be a fire, and sure enough, he confirmed there was a fire. But one of the things I wanted to share with you brothers is that, you see, I know you said it's Ogun and Ochusi, that's war and jail. But what we have to understand is that that's not enough. We need to begin to recognize and call upon the spirit of our ancestors. And what I've noticed since I've been dealing with the community and the injustices and all that we see with racism, the best way to fight back is spirituality. Okay? Because they don't understand justice when it comes to our people. And this is why it's so important for our people to begin to recognize and call upon the spirit of their ancestors and, get into their culture of African spirituality, knowing how to utilize nature to fight back. As I always say on my show, everything that we need to sustain life is in nature. And the best way to get them back, and we know they're afraid of it because they even try to utilize our, our history and our spirituality against us. So we must take it back. When we begin to take it back and fight back using spirituality, that's when you're going to see a change. when a black man and black woman begin to close the communication gap, that's when you will see a change. The only thing they'll understand is spirituality. I deal with it all the time. I shut them down. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not rallying. I'm not going out here, to the court system because it's still injustice. I'm going to just take it to the ancestors and the spirits. I let them deal with you. And trust me, family, they deal with them in a big way.
I see. Now, where do you see indigenous or African traditional spirituality in the diaspora?
The lack of a spiritual foundation under much of the Pan-African, or at least American Pan-African movement, and we're trying to help bring a spiritual base, hoping to bring together the African traditionalists and the Pan-Africanists and give them a more common focus. So we're trying to achieve that. You are a person who has a foot in both of those two worlds. How do you think first that is that a good idea? And then how do you think we should go about trying to achieve that?
I think it's an excellent idea, but I think we have to, we have a little bit more work to do. I think that we have to begin to put our egos down, you see. What I've noticed since I actually would launch, many shows and many guests as yourself on my radio show is that there's too much ego. What we have to understand is, we have to get it together in reference to the fact that if we're going to say we're Africans in America, and we talk about Black Power, and we talk about, we're queens and kings, and we have to walk it. We can't just talk it. And what I've noticed is that, it's a lot of separatism, with different organizations, a lot of ego involved, a lot of disrespect, a lot of, communication gaps that we have to close, you see. Once we get an understanding that we balance each other out, it's no, this one is over this one and this is, no. We have to understand balance. As we speak of, kinetic spirituality, we come back to the ma'at of balance. Once we understand that and close the communication gap and understand that this problem here in America is bigger, than us all. And not to mention in America, because I've actually had, guests on my show from London where we were having black people in London that were experiencing racism, and going through injustices there. So we're talking about, Africans around the world and other places that are experiencing what we're experiencing here in America. See, but, one of the things we have to do, we have to remove the ego. We have to remove the ego and see what the root of the problem is. And the root of the problem is that, we don't want to come together. We have a huge communication gap between us, and everybody wants to be the leader. Everybody wants to,
I don't want to put you on that.
Charge, No, I think what we have to understand is that, first of all, and I noticed this in the, community, they're very big on attacking. You cannot attack one who has been brainwashed and programmed to no avail. And you have to utilize the same tool that brainwashing and program them to deprogram and unbrainwashing, okay, which is the Bible. I do know, for the last 3 years of teaching and the importance of coming back to our ancestors that, many are coming out of the churches, out of Christianity because they're tired. They're tired of, this lie that this God is coming to save them. So whether we know it or not, I do deal with a lot of people. I do many spiritual readings around the world, and I get a lot of, Christian folks that come to me and just questioning, what is my purpose here? What am I, church is not working for me, saying naturally. The ancestors are working on that. However, speaking in reference to some of the elders in the community, I think they're a little bit tired. I think they put in their hard work, and that's it. And I think one of the reasons they weren't able to, accomplish all that they wanted to accomplish is because we were approaching it in the wrong way. And based off of what I've seen since I've had, many shows, bringing some of the elders on, bringing some of the, so-called conscious community, brothers on, one of the things is they were approaching it wrong. can't take a people that was brainwashed for hundreds and hundreds of years and approach them and expect them to change overnight, especially if you're utilizing the same tools that they use against you to fight you with your Christianity. And that's one of the problems. So we have to come at it in a unique and strategic way, because when you come at it the way that I've seen some of these brothers come at it, they ain't trying to hear you. They don't want to hear that. You remember, they've been brainwashed for 100 years or more, you know, and their God and their Jesus is just, their world. So how am I able to get them to call upon the ancestors? By utilizing the very tool that they was brainwashed with and educating them on, the history of the Bible, the history before the Bible. And I'm not attacking them, and that's, I think, one of the biggest mistakes we have made is attacking, Now I have to speak highly of Brother Ray Higgins, who actually, actually did the past at one time. He does a very good job at speaking and communicating with, Christians. However, I think that's the biggest, again, mistake we made. And I was also dealing with the Afro tribe, which is one of the tribes I was initiated with as well. And, we all collaborate together and talk about the importance of, coming together. However, there are, in Africa, there's a festival that takes place every year where all of the indigenous traditional healers, whether they're from the Yoruba tribe or, the Afro tribe or whatever, come together and discuss the importance of Africans in America, knowing that, African traditional medicine. Here, because, again, we have so many, being divided, whether you're dealing with the, Cubans, Santeria, Palo Mayombe, Canamboli, Brazil, you're dealing with these different systems. It all originated in Africa, as we do know. We have to, again, there's a lot of ego involved in these different traditions as well. Okay, and this one wants to be more powerful than this one, and it's ridiculous. So it's utilizing it against each other. Now, one of the covenants in the tribe that I was born into and come from, and as well as the one I was initiated in, there's a covenant that says you do not use this against your people. You use it for religious purposes, which is a gift to be able to heal, to use medicine to heal, to, do whatever we need to do. When they understand that they're no better than the so-called oppressor, by utilizing it to hurt and harm their own people instead of utilizing it to uplift and educate their people, then we'll see a difference. Now, I've talked to and created the Wole Sacred Society, which I don't care what system you practice in. You practice in Santeria, fine again, but if you have a gift and you have the power, to make a change in the community, that's what the Wole Sacred Society is about. If you ain't righteous and pure, you can't be a part of it. And the goal that I'm putting together is that I have several people right now that deal with different systems that are under Wole Sacred Society, whether in Detroit, whether in Chicago. I even have some over in the UK that I'm teaching the basics of African traditional medicine, but some of them do come from backgrounds of different traditional, spiritual systems. And the goal is that we must, okay, understand that we have to utilize this gift to make a change. And that's the only way we're going to see a change made in the community.
Ashe. Sister, you said something very, very, well, you said a lot of provocative things. But what you're talking about with the ego, once again, that really hit home with me.
It's because I know that you have a problem with the sisters as well, okay? And the sisters, the elder sisters, the younger sisters need to understand that they must come together, okay? We need the elder sisters to begin to act like elders to the younger sisters, but they're not doing their job either. I'm just going to be real. I don't hold my tongue about it. They're not doing their job either. We have a set of the elder sisters that are younger than jealous of the younger sisters, okay? And I think the sisters have some work to do and healing to do, too. Don't think it's just the brothers. And we have to understand the importance of this because I'm out in the community. I see it. Opposed to them coming and being the nurturers and the elders of the younger women, they're not. They're jealous. They don't want to step down and let the women take their rightful positions, the younger ones. They're not giving them wisdom like they're supposed to, you see. So I think, it's a lot that has to go on, as I said earlier, in the community that we have to look at, that we have to work on. As far as the brothers' egos, some sisters have egos too. Let's not get it confused, And I think, sisters have to come together. And not only that, I've had problems in reference with some of the younger sisters felt like they didn't need to be told what to do. Well, you're not my elder, really. I'm 10 years older. Well, you're not my elder. I've had situations like that, and they're supposed to be so-called conscious and aware, okay? I think we have a lot of work to do. And I don't think it should be a separatism, even if the sisters are a little bit more nurturing. I think that we have to come together and bring a solution together, not separately, because that's one of the problems. We already have conquer and divide mechanisms in the community. And this is where the egos come in with the men and the, sisters, yeah, they're nurturing, but to what extent, to what point, you see? Because you have a lot of them that's not acting as elders. We have some deep healing to do. So, as far as I'm concerned, I really think that we all need to come together around table, not, the sisters and the brothers only. And I did a show about this not too long ago on my radio show, but I think that we have to come down and come with a solution, and each side needs equally to be healed on a level where we have an understanding, again, that it takes a concept, the concept that it says it takes a village to raise a child. We have to understand what the elders' positions are, what their roles are in the community. Okay? Also, and when we do that, I'm going to say it again, we bring that concept and take the village to raise a child, because we have, been separated. Ain't none of my child. Ain't none of my child. I ain't worried about it. We don't care no more. We don't care. I don't see brothers out here taking hold of these young people or these young boys and talking to them. I don't see the sisters being role models to these young women out here, teaching them, how their bodies are temples. I don't see any of that. And I think before we can even bring the spirituality to them, we have to, we have to be the role models for them. We have to show them. We have to show them that we care. We have to show them that we're elders. We have to show them that no matter if you're not my child, I'm still going to teach you and guide you and give you wisdom. We don't have none of that anymore. So we can't even begin to bring the spirituality to them just yet. And there's a few. As a matter of fact, I'm training some young women now that are, because of the change and the awareness and the spiritual transformation that we're going through, these, pretty much these young ladies are like, I want to learn what you do. I want to learn how to heal people, So I think there's some up there, going through that transformation and awareness where they're actually now beginning to ask questions.
Oh, Shay.
Excellent, sister. And speaking of asking questions, there are a lot of people standing by to ask you questions. We're not going to be able to get them in on the air, but would you give us contact information, and so they'll know where to get in touch with you at, because a lot of people do have questions for you.
Sure. In reference to my radio show, I'm on 5 days a week. My website is www.blogtalkradio.com, and that's / Nicky Love, that's N as in Nancy, ICKY, LOVE. I'm on at 10 p.m. Eastern Time from Sunday through Thursday nights. If they have any questions about spirituality, I do my spiritual readings and work on the weekends, on Fridays and Saturdays. During the weekdays, I read between 6 and 9 p.m., and then 1 to 3 a.m. during the weekdays, okay? But, for the most part, I do most of my spiritual work on Fridays and Saturdays. They also can check me out on Facebook, www.facebook.com/ and that's Nicky, N as in NCICKY, Love, LOVE 1. That's my Facebook page. I also have a Twitter page. My Twitter is Of course, Twitter.com, and that's / Nicky Love Wunam, and that's W-U, and it's an N-T-A, and it's a Mary. That's Nicky Love Wunam. They can also check out my website. My website, not my radio website, my personal website is www.nickylovewunam.com.
Ashe. Would you give us that Facebook address again? I'm trying to jot it down. It was a little quick for me.
Okay, the Facebook is facebook.com / and that's Nicky, and it's an N-T-I-C-K-Y.
Party for Self-Defense. Was a black revolutionary socialist organization active in the United States from 1966 until 1982. The Black Panther Party achieved national and international notoriety through its involvement in the Black Power movement and the United States politics of the 1960s and the 1970s. African American communities were in crisis, and the Black Panther Party came to their aid. They provided free health clinics, economic assistance, free food, and clothing for those that needed it. African American communities all over America were under violent attack, and the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, the Black Liberation Army, African American Liberation Army came out and did what was necessary to defend their communities, which is more than the Hebrew Israelites, UNIA, the NAACP, and the Nation of Islam combined. The Black Panther Party was founded in Oakland, California, by Huey Newton and Bobby Seale on October 15, 1966. The organization initially set forth a doctrine calling primarily for the protection of black neighborhoods from police brutality. The leader of the organization espoused socialist and Marxist doctrines. However, the party's early black nationalist reputation attracted a diverse membership. The Black Panther Party objectives and philosophy expanded and evolved rapidly during the party's existence, making ideological consensus within the party difficult to achieve and causing some prominent members to openly disagree with the views of the leaders. The organization's official newspaper, the Black Panther, was first circulated in 1967. Also that year, the Black Panther Party marched on the California state capitol in Sacramento in protest of a selective ban on weapons. By 1968, the party had expanded into many cities throughout the United States, among them Baltimore, Boston, Chicago, Cleveland, Dallas, Denver, Detroit, Kansas City, Los Angeles, Newark, New Orleans, New York City, Omaha, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, San Diego, San Francisco. In October 1967, Huey Newton was arrested for the murder of Oakland police officer John Frey. At the time, Newton claimed that he had been falsely accused, leading to the Free Huey campaign. Panther leaders began to speak on invitation almost anywhere a radical gathered, and many whites wore hunkies for Huey buttons, supporting the fight to free Huey. During this period of development, black nationalism became part of the party's philosophy. During the months following the Free Huey birthday rallies, one in Oakland and another in Los Angeles, the party's violent, anti-white reality attracted a huge following, and Black Panther Party membership exploded. 2 days after the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. on April 6, 1968, 17-year-old Bobby Hutton joined Eldridge Cleaver, Black Panther Party Minister of Information, and what Cleaver later admitted was an ambush of the Oakland police. 2 officers were wounded, and Bobby Hutton was killed when officers opened fire, wounding Cleaver as well. In 1968, the group shortened its name to the Black Panther Party and sought to focus directly on political action. Members were encouraged to carry guns and to defend themselves against violence. An influx of college students joined the group, which had consistently consisted of brothers off the block. This created some tension in the group. Some members were more interested in supporting the Panthers' social programs, while others wanted to maintain their street mentality. By late 1968, Black Panther Party ideology had evolved to the point where they began to reject black nationalism and became more a revolutionary internationalist movement. Every party member had to study Mao Zedong, his Little Red Book, to advance his or her knowledge of people's struggle and the revolutionary process. Newton called on the Panthers to serve the people and to make survival programs a priority within his branches. The most famous of their programs was the Free Breakfast for Children program, initially run out of an Oakland church. Other survival programs were free services such as clothing distribution, classes on politics and economics, free medical clinics, lessons on self-defense, and first aid. They also offered transportation to upstate prisons for family members of inmates, an emergency response ambulance program, drug and alcohol rehabilitation, and testing for sickle cell disease. Panther slogans and iconography spread. At the 1968 Summer Olympics, Tommy Smith and John Carlos, two American medalists, gave the Black Power salute during the playing of the American National Anthem. The International Olympic Committee banned them from Olympic Games for life. Hollywood celebrity Jane Fonda publicly supported Huey Newton and the Black Panthers during the early 1970s. She and other Hollywood celebrities became involved in the Panthers' leftist program. The Panthers attracted a wide variety of left-wing revolutionaries and political activists, including writer Jean Genet, former magazine editor David Horowitz, and left-wing lawyer Charles R. Gary, who acted as counsel in the Panthers' many legal battles. Survival committees and coalitions were organized with several groups across the United States. Chief amongst these was the Rainbow Coalition formed by Fred Hampton and the Chicago Black Trust the people that did so many experiments on us. Everybody remember the Tuskegee experiment? They are the reason for our bad health in the first place. We want, point number 7, we want an immediate end to police brutality and murder of black people, other people of color, all oppressed people inside the United States. I agree. Yes, we do. But this can again be achieved by making sure we are sitting in a political position to act and change things. If we have political power, all these things will fall into place. And not black politicians, but African-centered politicians. Point number 8, we want an immediate end to all wars of aggression. Yes, we do. And we need to band together in unity with all oppressed people of the earth on an international level, beyond borders. Now, you're not forgetting the wars that's raging right now amongst ourselves with gangs and black-on-black violence. You have to look at the entire landscape. Point number 9, we want freedom for all black and oppressed people now held in the United States federal, state, county, city, and military prisons and jails. We want trials by a jury of peers for all persons charged with so-called crimes under the laws of this country. In actuality, we do not want them free on the basis of color. We want them free on the basis of justice. So maybe some retrials, but we need to stop giving people a reason to arrest us. Let us not pretend that many of our people have done silly things. The difference is, for those silly things, they get the hardest side of the law. But have they not done anything?